Blog Talk Radio. Liftoff on another Tarot Today radio episode here on the Psychic Talk Radio Network. Welcome, everyone. I'm Dax Carlisle, a tarot advisor and numerologist, coming to you live from Tucson, Arizona. And joining me, as always, is my fabulous co-host for Tarot Today Radio, the fabulous Mary Brown. She's a certified Tarot Master and Crystal Reiki Master, and she's coming to us live from Amarillo, Texas. Hey, Mary.
Hey, Dax. Hey, everybody. Happy Psychic Saturday.
Here we are again, and, we had an open line show last time, but this is great because we actually have a guest today, so it's going to be a lot of fun. How to unleash your inner winner with tarot. That's right. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have the fabulous Michaela Rena with us, and she's a certified Tarot Master through the Tarot Guild. We'll be bringing her on in just a moment here. But meanwhile, you can go and check out her website, clearlymagical.com. Magical is spelled with M-A-G-I-C, magic, K-A-L, just so you know. It's clearlymagical.com. Go over and check her website out while we're chatting here. How's things going, Mary?
Things are going pretty well. It is how are things going with you?
Oh, really
it's
good.
Pretty nice here.
Been good.
We're in the 80s.
Yeah, I've been doing the shows inside because it was so hot, but then we've had rain over the last week where it was really nice. I mean, cooled it down and everything. It's sunny and warmer today, but I was able to do the show out. Here I am out on the patio. I've got a fan blowing on me, and hopefully I'll make it through the show without melting.
Yes. We don't want you to melt. And if you do, you have to let us know by saying, I'm melting.
That's right. Things have been busy around here, busy with the Tarot Guild. A lot of people are taking advantage of the summer sale. We have a lot of new members coming on. We've got folks enrolling in my Tarot by the Numbers course. We have other folks joining the professional membership and going through the certification process. In fact, right after the show, I have an applicant that I have to do a test reading with for the CTR certification. So I'm really excited. Things are really building up. And if you're not on our group on Facebook, go over to Facebook, type in Tarot Guild. The fast way to get there is thetarotguild.com/Facebook. That'll take you right over to our group. There's a group and a page. Like the page, join the group. We have over 6,400 people on there, and it's growing by leaps and bounds. I put out a post welcoming like 50 people that joined in the recent week, and then 24 hours later, I had to welcome another 14, and then today another 19 in the last 24 hours since my last post. It is just incredible. Come join the conversations. We're really getting some great conversations now talking about all aspects of tarot. Also, come over and join our website, thetarotguild.com. In fact, if you open a new tab in your browser and you type in signup.thetarotguild.com, that's signup.thetarotguild.com, that'll take you right to where you can sign up with your LinkedIn, your Google, your Facebook account, your Twitter account, or you could put in, old-fashioned, put in an email address and a password. You could do it the old-fashioned way too. And it's free to join the website. Come over and join us on thetarotguild.com. Go check that out as well. And if you're listening live, hey, give us a ring and chat with us, 714-816-4628. You can also join us on the chat post. So we have a new chat room on every page for every episode. And we have a URL that'll take you right there, chat.psychictalk.net. It's that easy, folks. Just open a new tab in your browser, type in chat.psychictalk.net. And that'll take you right over to the page. Scroll down below the player. We have a player on there so you can listen live. And below the player, you'll see the chat room. It takes a couple seconds for it to render. So, give it a moment to pop up there. And join us in the chat room. You can chat with us, chat with each other. You can ask questions, even ask for a mini reading right there in the chat room. Chat.psychictalk.net. And if you're already on psychictalk.net, just click live at the top of any page. That'll always take you to the current show. So go check that out. Meanwhile, give us a call, 714-816-4628. Press 1 on your dial pad as soon as you get through. And so, Mary, did you get a card of the day?
Yes, I did, and I posted it in our Psychic Talk Radio Facebook group. If you haven't joined the group yet, you need to. We have a page in the group, like the page, join the group. You can find that easily by going to psychictalk.net/Facebook. And the card of the day for today comes to us from the Psychic Tarot for the Heart. This is actually not a tarot deck, but an oracle deck by John Holland, with really, pretty artwork by John Matson. And the card I chose is actually, if you look at it, you would be like, is it really? It's actually the Six of Cups, because the green cards in this tarot-based oracle deck are the Cups cards, or the emotion cards, as he calls it. And in this, so the meaning is comparable to the Six of Cups. The specific message with this card is to simply love. And, you can also use that Six of Cups meaning as well. Maybe it is a card of nostalgia. Maybe today's a great day to tap into some of those really fond, happy memories and just kind of cherish them and, feel that energy wash over you. Sometimes it's a great way to get like a little boost to your day. And also, the message that John Holland puts on there, to just simply love. He's talking about without any ulterior motives, to find someone or something that you can just feel a sense of love for, and without there being any strings attached. Give that a try today. Maybe find even if you can't find a person you can love, surely you can find a tree or an animal, a rock, a crystal, something. Come on, people, turn on your heart light. So, did you get a card of the day today, Dax?
Actually, no. You're
doing the spread.
5 cards.
Of the day.
Yes.
Right.
For those that haven't picked up on it, I really start getting bored with the card of the day, and and everybody does the card of the day. Yours is different though, because you've got so many decks, Mary, that you have the added ability to show beautiful artwork from hundreds and hundreds of decks and different cards from different decks. and
yeah,
so
it's
your
never
card of
even
the
the
day,
same deck of the day.
right? Yeah. So I really like yours, but if you're using like the Radiant deck, like I am in my posts, it gets boring, And I was like, hey, no one does a spread of the day. Don't you get more information with a spread? So I started doing a 5-card spread. Oh my God, it's the same one that I use on air, but it's actually been really good, yes. And so I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I'm going to tell people to go over and check out the article. I do it as an article every day. I put it out on our Twitter accounts and our Facebook accounts, our Psychic Talk group, our Tarot Guild group, my personal page. You can find it there. The easiest way is to go to thetarotguild.com and click articles, and it should be probably the first one at the top there. Look for it. It says Spread of the Day, Saturday, July 17th, 2021, what to do when your analytical side and your passionate side are in conflict. So basically, the entire date today reduces to the 2 vibration, 7/17/2021 adds up to 20, 2 + 0 is 2, cooperation, relationships, partnerships, balance, and helping others. The number 2 is known to numerologists as a supremely feminine force, one that represents both grace and power. It's about teamwork, pulling together, cooperation, diplomacy, mediation, romance, and intuition, like the High Priestess card, number 2, which actually appears today in the spread. And the day energy today, of course, the 17th, 1 + 7 is 8, so it's that 8 vibration of abundance and prosperity. The 8th, the 17th, and the 26th of each month are under the influence of the 8 energy. And 8 is symbolic of infinity. Think of 8 on its side. It creates the infinity symbol, infinite energy, infinite abundance here. So what's going on in the spread without, going into all the detail, you can read that in the article, folks, at thetarotguild.com. But this was really fun for me, Mary, because you look at it, and obviously it's talking about folks being kept up at night with the 9 of Swords. There's all those thoughts and ideas. But we've got the Queen of Pentacles. I'm sorry, the Queen of Swords. I'm squinting to look at this. The Queen of Swords facing the Knight of Wands. So the Knight of Wands is facing her, and she's facing him. And it looks like they're in a conversation. She's got her hand raised up. Of course, this is Waite Smith imagery, folks. And it's kind of like your analytical side with the Queen of Swords, and then with the Knight of Wands, we're talking about that fiery energy, your passionate side, and they're kind of like in conflict. And then the High Priestess shows up to mediate. That's right. And I go into some things with that, and the High Priestess counsels to look within. You have the answers within. I talk about how to do that. In addition, your body always knows. So I go through, I explain how to do a gut check with the solar plexus. And I also talk about a little bit about applied kinesiology. I can never say that. Okay, muscle testing. Let's just say muscle. Kinesiology, yeah. I have to say it a couple of times in my head before I say it verbally, because otherwise I can't pronounce it. And but yeah, I talk about muscle testing. I even give a link to muscle testing videos on YouTube for people to check that out. Yeah, but all works out in the end, because the last card in the spread is the 9 of Cups. That's right. Great card to get as the last card, indicating emotional well-being and the realization of your dreams. So go check that out at thetarotguild.com and read the whole thing there and get the links and everything else. Awesome sauce. Hey, I wanted to mention that today's show, as always, is sponsored by the Tarot Guild, the international organization for tarot lovers, students, and professional readers since 2004. Yep, in October, we're coming up on our 17th anniversary. We'll be in our 18th year. It's crazy. a couple years ago for our 15th anniversary, we launched thetarotguild.com, a brand new website, because our old website, the servers crashed. And so we decided 2 years ago to create a whole new tarot experience for tarot lovers, enthusiasts, students, and professional readers, with a full-fledged, full-featured social networking platform instead of just a website. And as I mentioned earlier, you could join that free. Sign up .thetarotguild.com, or if you're on thetarotguild.com right now, just click Join the Guild. You can become an associate member for free and use all of those fabulous features. It's just like Facebook, folks, only it's Facebook for tarot. Tarot all the time, and none of the negative stuff you get on social media websites. That's right. We monitor that stuff. Anyway, come onto the website, and you get your own profile. It's like your own mini website on Tarot Guild, on the tarotguild.com. It has a fully customizable, editable section there, along with your activity feed and blog and everything like that. And so you get all of that with that free when you join up free. You can edit it to your heart's content. You could put in links and images. You could put links to purchase readings. You could put HTML in. It's fully customizable. And, of course, we have friending and private messaging. We have a live chat. We have groups and forums and events, videos, all the things you would find on social media right there at thetarotguild.com. So go over and check that out.
What more could you want?
I know.
We've got
it's so
it all.
much fun. Yes. And, we've only had it up for a couple of years, but it's been slow going getting everybody over to the website. I forget where we're at now, somewhere between 400 or 500 people on the website, whereas we have 6,400 people on the Facebook group. So it's slow going getting people to move over. If you haven't checked out the website, go check it out. So are we ready to bring on our fabulous guest?
Yay!
Awesome sauce. Yes. And so Michaela is a certified tarot master through the Tarot Guild, and we're going to have a fun chat today about how to unleash your inner winner with tarot. And here she is, Michaela Rena. Hey, Michaela.
Oh.
Hey. Welcome to Tarot Today Radio.
Thank you to both you, Dax and Mary, for having me on the show. This is quite a privilege and an honor. Thank you so very much.
Oh, we're so glad you're here. So tell us about, we all have, I think, being the Tarot Guild, so many people, we come to tarot from in so many different weird ways, and some, sometimes our stories like intertwine and stuff. What was your journey like? How did you even get started with tarot, and then what made you decide to kind of go? A lot of our readers are always wondering, like, when do you make that step to go pro, and why was getting certified as a tarot master an important step for you?
Wow, thank you for that question. I really appreciate it, because you are correct. There is a story in every person's decision to be involved with tarot. It's interesting. There are those that get it from a grandmother that passes it down to them, or a family member, and they may receive cards from that person. The family may be more eclectic in their spiritual practices, and so there's an openness for intuitive connection, either by the cards, tarot, or through some other medium like the pendulum, or some other device or tool. However, that was not my experience. I was raised as a Catholic person in a very, very, if I had to say, strict household. That everything was specifically in relation to your spirituality and God through Jesus Christ. And so therefore any manipulation or working of energy could be considered taboo.
Yeah.
I didn't stay in that religious organization. By the time I was 16 years old, I had already discerned that this was not a place that I was going to rest my feet in. However, I didn't know how to express that. I just left and found myself in other religious organizations, not necessarily spiritual, just religious organizations that then again professed the same thing, that if you were involved in any type of spiritual or spirited guidance, that you were actually doing something that would amount to you being cast away from God. And so I would say somewhere after I had my last child, I have 4 adult children, my youngest child, I went through a divorce, and a family member of the in-laws knew that I was working to discover something different about my spiritual development. And as a child, I always would connect the spirit world to my to answers that I needed. If I just go into my own little prayer and I would ask the universe, I would ask God, show me through an image, or show me through something someone will say. And so therefore I began to really see how images could bring you an answer. And so this particular person, and I love saying her name because she was instrumental in my learning tarot. Her name is Frances Jiggets Jones, and she's a certified herbalist, and amongst many other beautiful gifts that she has, working with children in the professional field of health and mental wellness. She literally figured out, oh, this person doesn't realize this is her gift. And so I would come and have coffee with her, and I would, divulge all my sadness over whatever I was going through. And I would tell her, I said, oh, I know this is about to happen, and I would explain why. And she says, well, how do you see that? And I could look at something down the street, and this is how this all occurred. I could look at something and capture it as an image, like photography, and then say, this is how I know this is going to happen, because I seen a red car, I seen blah 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 walking down the street, and they had these type of dogs, and so I already know what kind of day this is going to be. And she says, okay, go get my little red bag in my bedroom boudoir. And I said, okay. So I get this little bag, and she says, open it up. And I open it up, and I see that they are tarot cards. I throw the bag at her, into her lap.
Oh, no.
I mean, as if it was like a hot potato. So, needless to say, I had that superstitious thought that just to touch them was evil. So, and so she said, what the heck are you doing? And I said, I don't touch those. Now, mind you, I don't go to any church or anything like that any longer.
Yeah.
I don't touch those. And she says, well, why not? I said, that's demonic. That's demonic, and I'm not inviting that in my life. So you could see where I had a lot of misconception and prejudice in regards to even just looking at the cards. I wouldn't even, just
indoctrination. It sounds like, right?
Oh, heavy, very heavy. And so she tossed the bag back at me, and she says, well, if you're going to be walking this walk in your life, and you're going through all these different things, you're going to have to get over these fears. So take the cards out the bag. And so, she's like my mama. So I took the cards out, and I looked at it, and I was so skeptical. I didn't even want to barely touch these cards. And she told me to pull a card. I pulled the card. She goes, read the card. I said, I don't know what to read. She goes, read it. And that's how she said, just read the card. What do you see? And I began to interpret the card. And she says, that's exactly correct. And that's exactly what you explained to me was going to happen this day. You see how the cards work? You see how that energy that you spoke of today, based on what you saw going down the street, is the same as what that card is saying, because you are pulling that out literally from your subconscious, and that's the energy that you need to pay attention to. So take those home. Those are yours. Now, this deck that I received from her was her 30-year deck, and that was my first deck that I really have this deck. So my interest in tarot really wasn't about I need to search for this and that, and I need to stop the pain, I need to get over this issue. It wasn't that. It was more or less I had come to the end of the road, and I had begun using my environment as tarot, but didn't realize I was doing that. And I was allowing myself to listen to an intuitive message. And she, Frances Jiggis-Jones, showed me through a very concentrated, focused effort that I could literally gain insight into my life. We weren't talking about other people's lives, but into my life. She says, if you want to learn who you are, this is the tool. She goes, we're not going to talk about future reading, fortune telling, reading somebody's card. This isn't about that. This is about you. And you have things you need to overcome it. This is how you're going to find out who you are inside that subconscious door you're not able to get into. That's how I got into tarot. And I learned the power of tarot. It took me about, she worked with me for a year and a day. And about 3 months into reading these cards every day, I would pull a card. This one particular week, we hadn't spoke on the cards, and I would, remain pulling the card. And then I would write down, I had a particular question about an old boyfriend. At that point, it wasn't an old boyfriend. It was an interest. And and she calls, and she said, hey, I didn't ask you. You've been pulling cards this week? And I said, oh, yes. And she, how's it going? And I said, I really am stumped. And she says, why? And I said, because I keep getting the same card. And I said, well, not the same card, but just the same answer. She says, really? She said, the same answer? And I said, yeah, but it's a different card. But it really is the same answer. And she said, well, what are you asking? And I said, well, I'm asking about, boyfriend so-and-so. And she says, okay. Go get that red bag. And I said, oh, okay. And she says, now put them in there. And, we're on the phone. I said, okay. So I put them in. She goes, zip it up. And I'm thinking we're going to do something magic with them, right? To make them do something wonderful. And she says, now go put them underneath your bed. I said, oh, okay. I'm thinking, I'm still so green about these cards. And I put them under the bed. I come back to the phone. I said, okay, they're under the bed. She goes, good. And don't touch those cards for 3 or 4 weeks, or not even until I say, you see, you don't understand the power of those cards. And you keep pulling cards and pulling cards, and you're not listening. And eventually you're going to get a card you don't know what to do with. And she goes, and that card is going to determine how you are moving and shifting, because you are pulling energy. And since you don't understand that, put the cards up. And I said, that was a heavy lesson for me. That's
a great way to teach that lesson to you, though. Wow, this woman was amazing. I love that.
And so because I knew she was just as intuitive, and more intuitive, and I didn't touch the card. And it took about maybe 6 weeks. And we talked every day. And so this one particular day, she said, hey, you got those cards underneath your bed? And I said, yes, ma'am. She says, go get them. I got them. And she says, pull a card. Don't ask a question. Just pull the card. See what the energy is telling you for today, so you know how to direct your day. And that is how I began learning and teaching myself how to pay attention to the energy, not so much about the question I wanted to ask. And as I began to develop that skill, that is where I found the most value in teaching other people when I began teaching tarot.
Awesome. So, what is it that, we're talking today about your approach to this, is the specific about helping people to find their inner winner. So when I saw that, how do you teach people, you help your clients to unleash their inner winner, and how is that different from getting in touch with your inner child? I think a lot of people were used to that, hearing about that, but we're not used to hearing that we've got an inner winner. So can you kind of explain to us, like, kind of a little bit about that, and kind of what your approach to that is like for your clients?
Absolutely. And thank you for making the differentiation in conversation about the inner winner as opposed to your inner child. As we are progressing as mature adults and we are working through our inner child work, usually that work is coming from a place that feels neglected, damaged, sad, angry, frustrated, chaotic, not heard, and definitely not respected, where there's this weakness of a child that is still waiting for someone to validate that this person now is strong enough. However, the inner winner is this person that came through and made it through the process of being born. This was a strength. And in that strength of surviving this channel of birth, then now wins every single day, that wakes up from the moment that it becomes conscious every single day and is winning life, is choosing to be yes in life. And there's nothing in that child that believes that it can't do something. It begins to progress in seeing itself in a room full of people that walk on two legs, and other children that now run and play. And this child doesn't say, I can't do that. The child figures out, I'm going to move forward. And it starts shuffling or roly-poly on the ground to get to some furniture to pull up, and it's constantly in a winning state. When that child is between 2 and 6 years old, there is something in that child that knows that they're supposed to do something, and they will be great at doing it. And our reflection on young children playing allows a person to be able to confirm that. I love watching my grandchildren play, and my first granddaughter, she was 6.5 years old. She cut some clothing and did some little design, and then she made some little arm wristbands. And she told me how she did it. And she says, I'm a fashion designer, Mimi. That's the inner winner.
Awesome.
Right. There's nothing in that person, that little person, that doesn't know they're already winning. So then something happens where that gets locked. We say this person goes through this transformation where they're now becoming really conscious, and they're seeing other people, because basically they're mimicking life in a yes manner. They see other people stifled in their yes. And then they begin functioning in the space of, I don't think I can. I can't. Someone told me I can't. I'm not sure. So therefore their inner winner is still stuck inside. And so Tarot allows that person to see these images that wake up the subconscious memory to the conscious place that they can win, that they will win. And so instead of these cards being looked at as a doom and gloom, I don't understand, and this is scary when they see the swords, or frightening if they see the death card or the tower, and I say that because those are the cards, or when they see the devil card, that
oh yeah
so true,
right? It sparks something inside of them, and it says, oh my gosh, why am I seeing that? And then you think, okay, so the tower, we're at a place where you need to rebuild, so you need to deconstruct a thought process. what are we deconstructing for you? Where is it that you've been limiting yourself and creating these walls? So if a person has got, let's just say, concern with their weight, and they keep building up these walls, and now the walls look like a physical weight problem. Then now the tower shows up that says, you need to deconstruct whatever now you've been protecting yourself around. It's time to deconstruct that. And then pulling now forth an additional card that shows them this is what's happening in the subconscious, and so this is how you celebrate to break free from that. And so because of the words of choice that I use in the support with my clients, that their inner winner begins to emerge, literally canceling the negative, energetic feelings in the body, the biochemical feeling in the body, to a yes, that inner winner can now step out and remember, reattach, rediscover that they are winners. And so let's step back into that space.
I love that. I love that.
You. Thank you. So, and that was and is something that has been very important for me, because my own story was definitely about remembering this inner winner. When I was 3 years old, my fingers were severed. All 8 of them. They sewed them on. And I say that they sewed them back on. And they didn't think that I would have regular length fingers. And I have all 8 fingers, yes. And you can still see the little marking of where they sewed them back on. And by the time I was 5, I was abducted by a serial rapist, and they had to look for me. And so these stories were trapped in my body, and and so therefore the stories that I had begun to build was distrust. Yeah. It wasn't anything else but distrust for my environment. So therefore, when you have distrust and you don't trust the messages you might receive that says, oh, nope, that's not a good choice in a partner or in a business or in this education or this group of people that you're befriending. So therefore now we attach these new stories of negativity onto the body's experience, and therefore we shut down that desire to win. And so my work with myself was literally allowing the images to show me what's locked in there, what's keeping you from stepping into your power, your full power. And again, there were aspects of my life that were extremely wonderful, but I would undermine the experience. I'll say this: I danced for the Sacramento Kings NBA pro team, and also the Los Angeles Lakers. I was a Laker girl, and
awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I replaced Paula Abdul. I was her replacement on the team, and there were moments that I think there was so much I could have done with all of that, but I would walk myself backwards and then say that I wasn't, I didn't deserve that. Even to the point for almost 20 years, I wouldn't tell anybody that I danced for the Sacramento Kings. I would let other people tell, but I wouldn't say, oh, yeah, I danced pro NBA. And so the cards were showing me, oh, that's your hang-up. You are afraid for people to judge you or not believe you. And I remember one time I had shared that, oh, yeah, I've been dancing for 33, almost 34 years, teaching dance, major choreographer in the Northern California arena of dance. And the person literally said, you couldn't have been dancing for 33 years. There's no way. And at that moment, it took everything in me to say, yes, I have. I started dancing at this age. But see, prior, I wouldn't have. I would have allowed that person to say, I don't believe that, and just let it go. But I needed to go through Tarot to show me why was I having a hang-up there. And then how can I undo it? Because if you have... Go ahead.
There's hardly... I think there's hardly more important work to do than that. Whether, that you've found a way to do it with tarot to your own benefit as well as to your clients is terrific. I mean, that's really a gift, and it's really fortunate that you have clients that want to do that kind of work, because it ain't easy. It's just like soul retrieval if you're into shamanic practicing. It's like those little bits of ourselves that get, either we lose them or they get buried inside. It's negative self-talk. You keep hearing you're this is bad, you're not good, all of that stuff. You start to believe it because it's easier, and then look how we limit ourselves. I think this is an incredibly amazing journey that you are on, and I think it's incredibly wonderful that you're paying it forward with sharing that.
Absolutely. And I will say I'm such a stickler about words, only because I recognize that the words are actually caught in our subconscious. And that is what I use as images in relation. I partner the images or bridge the images. And so I will now say to you, yes, it's very credible work, extremely credible, and very powerful. And I feel thankful and so much gratitude for the person that showed me how to use this tool and to be very effective and trust myself. And because this is really what using any tool is about when you're doing this self-work, to learn to trust yourself and to allow yourself to heal from any supposed, and I'm going to say it that way because the person feeling it may feel that they've been hurt, and the person's outward aren't able to understand any of it and don't see where the hurt is. So it's whatever the supposed personal perspective of hurt, then we can allow ourselves to use a tool, in this case, tarot, to help understand who we are, understand who we are. And in this case, I use this tarot with my clients by seeing what's in the subconscious, the words that are attached, and then I use a method that I learned. It's actually called the Garand system, where you undo the trigger emotion from the body, but we are able to see that through the cards, because the cards are now illuminating the images, illuminating the feelings, illuminating the emotion, so that we can tap in and say, oh, okay, see, this is what the card says. I'm looking at these images, and this is now what's being interpreted. The person then confirms, yes, that is what I'm going through.
I love that.
Like that. Yes, thank you.
It's
right
such a far cry from, fortune telling. So many people, that's all they think about when they think about tarot, is predicting the future, not using it as a tool like this. A lot of people don't have a clue that you can even do that.
Absolutely. Like, to me, what better way to use the card? And I say this to my students, and I stick by it. What use is getting a card reading if you are not able to get the prescription and the anecdote? Because going to someone to read the card is like going to the doctor and saying, "Doctor, what's wrong?" And then the doctor says, "Oh, this is what I see is wrong, so I'm going to prescribe you a medication." And so then you get the prescription, and then you go to the pharmacy and you get the anecdote to handle the ailment. Well, this the same as going to your tarot reader. If that tarot reader is really functioning at their best to help the person to overcome something. We have and every tarot reader is different. We have some that just are only there to deliver the message. That's it. And then you have those that are specifically there to deliver the message, prescribe the best course of action to eliminate whatever the issue is. And then now what's the antidote? So now I'm going to show you how to use it. And so that's what I do with my clients, with myself. First, that's how I learned how to do it. I see the story, and that is now identifying what the issue is, like a doctor. Then I prescribe, okay, this is what you're going to need to do. And then there's the antidote. This is how you do it. And so let's get it done.
That's awesome. Well, Michelle, let's take a break for a second.
Sure.
Mary, do you want to let everybody know what's coming up on the network, and then we'll see when we come back after that if we have time for a couple of phone calls.
Sounds good. Okay, so what do we have coming up this week on the Psychic Talk Radio Network? Our next show is going to be Monday, July 19th, the Wisdom of the Soul Show with your host, Janice Fuchs, at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. And then on Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, it is the Spiritual Guidance Radio Hour with angelic channel and energy healer Catherine Hahn. She'll be giving free on-air guidance. And then Dax and I will be back next Saturday, July 24th, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern with our monthly Psychic Spin. What do you want to know from the universe segment? So be sure to send in our, you know how to get a hold of Dax. You know how to get a hold of me on our Facebook groups, either the Tarot Guild Facebook group or the Psychic Talk Radio Facebook group. Send us your questions, your big, big questions. What's the meaning of life? Are we here? Are we alone? Are robots taking over? Send them in, and we will give them a spin on next week's episode of the Tarot Today radio show. Plus, taking your regular calls and doing free mini readings, all that good stuff. And then lastly, next Saturday, July 25th, you don't want to miss it, is the Magic Universe Show with your host, Sharona Rapsick, and I'm the special guest. I am excited to be on there talking with Sharona next Sunday about how to raise your vibration using crystals. We will be taking your calls as well, and that is what's coming up on the Psychic Talk Radio Network. You can find all of that pretty easily by going to psychictalk.net/upcoming. Back to you, Dax.
Thank you. I think that's it on the announcements, except real quick, I'm going to remind everybody about the sizzling summer sale at the Tarot Guild. If you are brand new to tarot, if you want to learn tarot and numerology, you can enroll in my course for 33% off. Oh, my God, it's a great deal. Go check it out. Go over to thetarotguild.com, and right there on the main page, right in the middle, you're going to be greeted by that sizzling summer sale banner. It's blue, and just click on it. It'll take you over to the sale. Now, if you're already a professional reader, hey, we haven't forgotten about you. Yep, you can become a professional member and get your CTR Tarot Reader certification in a package for just $67. That saves you 33%. Just like Michaela did. Joined the guild and got certified. That's right. So, lots of opportunities out there. Go check it out. If you want to book a private reading, readings are discounted 33% as well right there during that sale. You can also type in your browser summer.thetarotguild.com. They'll take you right over there. That's something we haven't asked you yet, Michaela Rena, about, wow, what a journey from all the things you've done. And then from that initial, oh, get those cards away from me, all the way to Certified Tarot Master. How did you decide you wanted to work with clients and not just do this for yourself? And then we always want to know, how did you find the Tarot Guild and why did you decide to get certified as a Tarot Master?
Yeah, that is a great question. I've pondered that myself, especially every time I'm working with a client. I'm like, why did I do this again? Well, I will say this, that working with my Jegna for a year and a day, and eventually I had to pass her test. I had to do a reading. And in that reading, it was discovered that I have this ability for mediumship. And so I began reading something, and then in mediumship discovered something else that was brought, in the discussion. And it literally brought tears to her eyes, and I've never seen her cry. And she looked at me, she said, "You have to help other people. That's your job."
Wow.
You get good.
Wow.
You get good. You get good because what you have inside of you is being woken up, and you need to take care of other people. So that took a little time, and then so what I did is within maybe 6 months after completing my work with her in this area of Tarot, I opened and had my first class, and that class probably I think had 30 people in that class, and I went from a different perspective. I literally said, if you're already reading for people, or if that's your business or whatever, or you're reading for friends, I'm going to ask you to stop, because there's an aspect of Tarot that you need to work on inside yourself first before you read for other people, because the cards can jump. And I had to learn all these different things. Like your cards can actually start reading other people in the room, and you're no longer reading your client. The cards can begin reading you, and you are no longer reading for your client, but you're reading your own story. Well, how do you begin separating or differentiating that this story is not yours? And that is about clearing emotional triggers and pain in yourself first before you go out trying to help other people. And that was my key. I had to help me first. How can I go and tell you your story and trust that the intuition and the trigger and the notices that I'm getting with the card belong to my client, if now all of a sudden the client story is making me upset? Then you go, no, that's not working. So that was part of my development, and then showing my students how to become really proficient at reading, so that they were not crossing stories, and that they could really stay objective and separate from their client as they are reading. And it was that same Jegna that said, whenever you feel strong enough, you need to validate that. There's tons of readers everywhere. She said there's thousands of them. She goes, from the old psychic networks, from the old Tarot networks. And she said, you never want yourself to be labeled as, and she said it, Miss Cleo. She goes, I'm sure she had a gift in her, but you want to get past that this is a hobby, or this is a hoax, or this is a spooky. You want that. You want your craft to be respected. And the only way you're going to do that is by belonging to an organization that has a respectable program, and its mission is to create the validity and the importance of using tools such as Tarot. And so that was quite some time. Even she shared that with me well prior to my finding out about the Tarot Guild. And so in doing enough research, then all of a sudden Tarot Guild comes across my platform, and it's like, this is a guild. That's not a group or a program or this is the place.
It's,
like you
it's
want to
not
right.
psychic friends.
Right, exactly. Like, when you belong to a guild of any serious work, then this is where there's a collection of information that has been validated through experience and through research, through other organizations. That is heavy. And so due to the work that I am doing in the wellness community, then I wanted my name to be synonymous with value. And the work that I'm doing and using and the tool that I'm using, Tarot, to be the bridge of excellence in my work. So being connected to the Tarot Guild is literally stating my expertise in excellence with Tarot.
Wow, I don't think I've ever heard it better said, Mary.
Yeah, because I mean that's what it's all about. I mean, I think I had the same kind of reaction to the Tarot Guild because I was working in Hollywood, so I was used to the Writers Guild. I was used to the Screen Actors Guild. I was like, yeah, okay, that's where the professionals, you have a professional organization. You have an organization that's you, what you do. And so it just like connected, along the same lines as those other, guilds. That it was for the readers and not a not a Miss Cleo infomercial.
Exactly. Yeah, it wasn't a club. It's not a club, right? Yeah, we're not in a club. Yeah. It's like, this is a guild. This is a professional industry. Something that has been
resources, classes, information that you need for being a tarot reader.
Absolutely. And you have people's lives in your hand. People come and they tell you their most intimate
oh yeah,
concerns.
They do.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, we have health and
we could have a whole show on when's the last time your client shocked you? I could do an episode like that. It's like outrageous.
Right.
Well, we'll have to have Michaela back on, and talk about that. Yeah, the craziest things that clients have come up with. That would be a fun show.
It will.
We definitely have to have you back. So we are coming up on the end of the show here. Let's see if we can at least squeeze in one caller before the end of the show. We're going to have to do this real quick because I know that my co-host there, Mary, has some important engagements right after the show. So we can't go long today like we normally do. We got to stop right at the top of the hour here. So let's bring on a caller. Now, if we don't get to your call, remember you can call Catherine on Friday. It's the same telephone number. And, of course, she's in the evening, of course. And then we'll be back next Saturday. And then, of course, Mary will be on with Sharona next Sunday. So there's plenty of opportunity. You can also contact us in between shows, of course. You can book a private session as well. Be sure, before I forget, be sure to go over and check out our guest's website, clearlymagical.com. It's MAGICKAL, clearlymagical.com. By the way, all these links are right there on the show page, so just scroll up if you're listening on the show page from the player, and you'll see the links, and her name is linked to take you right over to her Facebook. Alrighty, so just let's see who's been waiting to log. This looks like area code 347. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Tanika, and I'm calling from Long Island, New York.
Oh,
Hi,
Long
Tanika.
Island. Okay.
Greetings.
Tanika, what's your question for us today?
I wanted to know what you see in regards to relationship and love between someone named Frank and I, and if you see anything about me moving.
Okay, we'll see what comes up. Michelle, you got your cards going there?
I do.
We always let the guest.
Yeah. It's really interesting.
Yeah,
I
let
pulled
the
a set
guest
of cards
go first.
and I said, I pulled this set of cards. I said, I'm going to pull a set of cards because I know whoever this is for, they're supposed to hear this. And so the first card that I pulled is the Moon. I'm just going to tell you the cards first. I'll tell you the reading. I'll go through it quickly, so please take notes. The first card is the Moon. The second card is Four Swords. Third card is Six of Wands. And the last card is Ace of Pentacles. So the Moon card, this is your time to really take a moment to go within. The Moon is interesting in the fact that you don't see the other side. So there's something you need to peer into to discover what else that you're not seeing that you need to take into consideration. That Four of Swords is the confirmation of that. There's an aspect of something that's happening that you definitely need to find more information to discover if this connection that you have with this person is in your best interest. The reason why I say that, because this Four of Swords actually shows, in this particular card deck, which is the True Heart, shows four crows sitting over the woman as she's got four swords around her and she's levitating, which says that she may not be quite really in thinking, like this could be this la-la feeling, this very sensitive feeling, but not being grounded. So here's the admonition, Six of Wands, very interesting. It could be combative and creative, but there definitely is necessary for there to be balance. So there could be a warring or a struggle in what you're thinking about right now, and needing clarity. So then we're going to go right here to the Ace of Pentacles. Do whatever is needed for you to become grounded in this experience. Instead of thinking about the beautiful and euphoric feeling, get real practical. And the practicality is about you. It's not about the other person. This is about how practical is and logical is the request about you moving, going somewhere else. How logical is that for you right now? And is it in alignment with you really knowing everything that you can in relationship to this person? So that's what I have to share with you today.
Awesome.
Okay.
Hope that helped you out, Tanika. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
Yay. Well,
Beautiful.
What were you going to say, Mary?
I have no idea.
I thought I heard you about to say something.
It just blanked out everything. I'm like, was I going to say something? I don't know if I was going to say anything. Sounded good to me. Yeah, she needs to get real. She needs to get practical. She needs to think about it. Is
awesome.
she moving?
Well, we need to get going here, but I want to thank Michaela Rena for joining us, and I hope you'll come back on another show.
Absolutely,
you
and thank you so very much. Thank you. This has been quite a pleasure.
Mary,
Thanks
I know
so
you
much
have
for
to run.
joining us. I've got to run, but thanks again for joining us, Michelle. And Dax, thank you, as always, for seeing you. And have a great weekend, everybody.
Have a great weekend. Thanks to all our listeners and callers, and we'll see you next week. Remember to send in your questions, the big ones for the Psychic Spin. We'll pull tarot cards on anything. Yeah, so you got something big out there, how does this work? How does the universe work? The law of attraction, why are we here? I mean, we've tackled a lot of the big ones, and maybe you've got something that we haven't asked the tarot about before. So go ahead and get a hold of Mary or I and let us know what your questions are. We'll have to do some posts on the Psychic Talk group and the Tarotville group on Facebook and ask for those questions. Yes. All right, bye, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Good night, John Boy.
Good night, Mary Ellen.